at 17 Wing Detachment Dundurn, otherwise known as Camp Dundurn, about 25 kilometers south of Saskatoon. And the Canada Remembers International Air Show started in 1995, and it was first held at the location of Saskatchewan Place Arena. It was the first arena in the world to ever host an air show, and we did it there for 3 years. Then we moved to the Saskatoon Airport for a number of years, and then in 2011 we moved the event to the Wyatt Group Raceway just north of Saskatoon, and then it was the first raceway in the world to ever have an air show. We outgrew that location, and 17 Wing Detachment Dundurn said that if we can pull it together, we can come up with a way to do it, then we could use this property here at the base.
I'll be your light, your match, your burning sun. I'll be the bright and black that's making you run and feel alright. We'll feel
your 2017 Canadian Horses Snowbirds.
Now we're doing this. If you never doubt till the love.
I'm Captain Blake McNaughton, Snowbird 10 with the Royal Canadian Air Force Snowbirds. We're in town in Saskatoon and Dundurn this weekend for the Armed Forces Day down there, our Salute to Heroes air show. You wake up every day and all you want to do is get to work. Everything about it is fantastic. The flying is exceptional. Getting to travel across country and visit Canadians and meet new people is amazing, and it's quite the honor. The Royal Canadian Air Force Snowbirds are an exceptional group of people. You have men and women from all trades from across the Canadian Armed Forces doing lots of different jobs on the team. What you're going to see when you watch the Snowbirds is an amazing collection of aerobatic maneuvers and tight formations, big sweeping 9 planes. It's something that you don't see with other air show acts, and it's exceptionally Canadian. We've been developing this for almost 50 years, and we're not done yet. We keep working at it. The Tudor is a fantastic airplane for what we do. Having a tight formation, the Tudor is rock solid. It's like a 1960s sports car. It's all metal. It was designed on a slide ruler, but she is just beautiful to fly. She's extremely reliable, and with the amazing amount of work that our technicians put into her, she is a joy to use in these air shows. And we hope that you enjoy seeing the beautiful silhouette that she puts against the sky.
And now, straight ahead, let's get ready for a very special maneuver.
So you can keep me inside the pocket of your ripped jeans, holding me closer till our eyes meet. You won't ever be alone. Wait for me to come home.
The Snowbirds are dedicating today's heart to all the veterans in the crowd.
It's amazing to hear kids think that the Snowbirds are heroes. My heroes are firefighters, police officers, and EMS, and the soldiers who are serving all across this world doing dangerous work. But if kids think that we're their heroes, I can see why. Because when I was 15, I wanted to be a snowbird, and I had a poster on my wall. And it's because the Snowbirds just do amazing things. They work extremely hard. They aim for that perfect maneuver, and that hard work and dedication is something that I think all kids should strive for.
Running in the level roll. Contact! Contact!
The Snowbirds are world renowned, not only because of our performance, but also because we travel all over North America performing, and we get to meet other demo teams like the Red Arrows and the Patrol de France just recently in Gatineau, and we share the skill, professionalism, and teamwork that we use as Canadian Armed Forces members when we work overseas in military operations, but also in our airshow performances.
This year in particular, we are very proud to present the symbol of Canada in our maple split. It presents the great things we have accomplished in the past 150 years and all our goals and dreams for the next 150. Turn your attention to center stage and look for the distinctive lines of the maple leafs drawn by our smoke trails.
2017 is a fantastic year to be a Snowbirds. With the 75th anniversary of Dieppe, the 100th anniversary of Vimy, the sesquicentennial of Confederation, it is just an amazing year to share with Canadians. And we have a link to that. In 1967, the Golden Centenaires, the previous team that flew the Tudor, they were formed to celebrate that year. And so we're taking that history and moving it forward, onward with Canadians this year. It's going to be very special.
By mere Mr. Shane, please let me explain. By mere Mr. Shane.
Saskatoon's recognized across Canada as having the largest indoor Remembrance Day ceremony in the country. It's the second largest ceremony next to the outdoor one in Ottawa. A lot of that had to do with this event happening in the summer of every year. So it gave people an opportunity to come out as a community and pay tribute to our heroes, fallen and serving. So once a year is just not often enough. And that message has been strong with the Canada Members Program here in Saskatchewan ever since day one, and today is another testament to that. The community came out, several thousand people here enjoying the entertainment, but at the same time shaking the hand of a veteran and mingling with our military, our law enforcement, fire, emergency services people, the folks who will go through the door while we're running out.
The aircraft is being flown by the incoming commanding officer of 417 Squadron, Aircraft Commander Captain Alexia Shore, along with her co-pilot Captain Rob Hanman, Flight Engineer Sergeant Steph Shampansky, and Search and Rescue Technician Sergeant Steph Richard.
We're based out of Cold Lake, Alberta, with 417 Combat Support Squadron, and our primary role is to be on standby every time the jets are flying. So we have the Hawks and the F-18s there. Every time they're flying, in case they eject, we have to be on 1 hour standby to go and pluck them out of the bush. So we can just hover over the trees, lower down our search and rescue technician, hook them up and bring them back to the helicopter and fly back to the hospital. Why helicopters for me? Honestly, I didn't get my first choice selection of jets. So I wasn't too impressed when I got helicopters, but the very first flight, I realized that it was actually fun. And I haven't looked back since. I love being part of the crew concept. We fly with a crew of 4. The machine doesn't fly with just one person. We have the other pilot and then also the flight engineer in the back controlling the hoist. And he also cons the aircraft. So he tells the aircraft, move left 2, move up 2, and he tells us where to go to make the rescue a success. And then we have the SARTech, who obviously does all of the groundwork, and he has more qualifications than a paramedic. And they also do skydiving, mountain climbing, ice climbing, tons of survival camp and survival skills. And they also do scuba diving. So if there's a Canadian anywhere, the SARTech can get to them.
So very carefully as she transitions and stops to move in the other direction, she must be critically aware of that downwash to not get caught in it. And again, she transitions now and sweeps to the other side.
I really enjoy coming out to air shows like this and interacting with the public. Anytime they see anybody in uniform, they always have a lot of questions, and I'm more than happy to answer. And particularly meeting the kids, and we let them try on our helmet and vest. And normally, if we're set up for just a static display, then we can actually let them inside the cockpit and push the buttons and everything else. But because we're actually on standby, they unfortunately have to just stand outside and look at it right now. You never know what kind of influence you're going to have on somebody. Just talking to somebody for 2 minutes, or even them just being at the air show and seeing a cool aircraft show, it might lead them down a career path that they would have never imagined before. So I think just knowing the amount of influence just a short interaction can have with people is quite powerful.
As she bows to you, here she goes now and heading off to the other side. Alexi and the rest of her crew from 417 Squadron in the Griffin helicopter.
The SkyHawks have been around for 46 years. They have been Canada's only military demonstration team for parachuting. And we have been putting on shows in the United States and Canada, wowing the crowd for the last 46 years. There's 14 of us who jump, and there's one ground crew guy, and there's another narrator. And then we have a whole bunch of formations. We have the Canadian T that takes 3 people. We have the tri-by-side that takes 3 people. We have the 3-stack drag that takes 3 people. And then we have the candy cane, which takes 2.
Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you have your sunglasses on, because if you take a look up high in the sky, several SkyHawks have successfully exited the aircraft and deployed their signature Canadian flag canopies. That's right, those canopies are custom made for the SkyHawks, ladies and gentlemen. They're very maneuverable. They've got control lines that are attached to the rear of the canopy that allow our SkyHawks to vary their rate of ascent, their normal forward speed, and of course, to allow them to make some turns.
They do like us everywhere we go, so they have a great history in all these places, and everybody really enjoys them, so I'm just happy to be a part of it.
Our SkyHawks right now are sort of orbiting around each other, almost as if they're dueling, flying through the sky, creating what we like to call the candy cane.
To me personally, me being in the Army, being infantry, my regiment was actually had a presence in all those, in Vimy, and it's been around since pretty much the start of Canada, so it really is a nice feeling to be able to look back and what my regiment has done over the years. Like it's kind of proud to be part of it.
They're out. More SkyHawks exited the aircraft. Notice how 2 of them are actually free falling right now, and they've opened up their canopies. They've deployed some red smoke. Terminal velocity, belly to the earth, is about 200 miles an hour, but now under canopy, 2 of our SkyHawks are just floating through the air.
We're living the dream. We're doing our best hobby in the world, and we're getting paid to do it. So it's a great life. This formation is held by the jumper in the middle. They're holding on to each other really, really hard because as it is right now, they are hurtling downward towards the ground at about 40 miles an hour. And there we go. They've created some distance between their canopies. This is when they really pick up speed, ladies and gentlemen. Look at that. And they're holding on really, really hard for us and that explosive break.
Of course, being Canada's 150, it was important for someone to pull together an air show in Saskatchewan. And after talking with the military and 1 Canadian Air Division and Winnipeg headquarters, we decided to try it here at Camp Dundurn. And it's the first time it's ever been an air show at Camp Dundurn. A secure facility with a no-fly zone, and we have an air show here. So fortunately for our community, it happened this year, and hopefully it'll happen again at some point down the road.
Good afternoon, Saskatchewan. This is Captain Matthew Kutrick with the Royal Canadian Air Force, and we're live from the cockpit of Hornet 01. With the sun poking through the clouds here over Dundurn, we have an amazing show lined up for you. You can go ahead and cue the music at this time.
Temptation when you get the vibration won't do you no good, won't do you no good.
I remember seeing the F-18 at air shows, the Cold Lake Air Show in '88, Rendezvous Air Shows up in Whitehorse, and when I was a little kid, 6, 7, 8 years old, that looked like an amazing job, something I wanted to do. I pursued that goal, and I feel very fortunate, very, very lucky to be able to realize that dream now, essentially a childhood dream, flying for the Royal Canadian Air Force as a CF-18 fighter pilot.
Glib is now configuring his aircraft with landing gear, a resting hook, and refueling probe deployed. With everything hanging out, Captain Kutrick sets up for the dirty inverted pass.
My nickname is Glib. The term we use is call sign. That's a tradition that goes back to World War I, essentially within Western Air Forces. Every fighter pilot has a call sign, has a nickname. The stories behind those call signs and a lot of the traditions involving those call signs are guarded pretty secretly. Within our Air Force, if you were to ask 10 of my colleagues the story behind my call sign, you might hear 10 different stories, and some of those stories might even be just a little bit true. It should be noted that this airplane is a combat aircraft just like any F-18 Hornet in the fleet. The only difference between this aircraft and every other fighter jet we have is the outstanding paint job on the top of the jet. The paint job itself was designed that way, so we have the tactical gray on the bottom, but on the top we have the commemorative red paint scheme. During the air show, every time I flash my wings, every time I roll or reset the lift vector is the term we use, you're going to see this huge Canada 150 leaf on the top. And it doesn't matter if it's blue sky or some gray clouds, that leaf just pops out. Everybody knows what jet that is, and everybody knows what we're celebrating.
We also have someone very special up here on the stand with us. With us here today, we have Glib's mom.
I'd like to send a shout out to a special guest today, my mom, Kathy Kutrick. Now, more importantly, I also got to say thanks to all the organizers and supporters that made this possible, specifically those who are celebrating, the real heroes, the veterans. So from the Royal Canadian Air Force to the supporters, volunteers, and veterans, thank you.
So one of the highlights of our summer program for me is meeting those youth, those air cadets, those kids, and saying like, hey, I had a childhood dream. I feel very lucky to be able to pursue that dream now. As a kid, you dream big and you have a lot of crazy ideas, but as you grow up and you start going through high school, sometimes things don't seem realistic or within the realm of possibility. I certainly went through that myself, but I was able to focus on the dream, and I was lucky enough to have opportunities to continue to pursue that dream. My passion was aviation. I don't know what your passion is, but whatever it is, continue to dream big and push for that. And that's the message I've had from the beginning to everybody, that the most important thing you can do is to dream big and go for that.
Well done, Dundurn. Captain Kutrick, Hornet 1. That concludes our show today. I hope you enjoyed as much as I did. I had an absolute blast flying with you in these sunny Saskatchewan skies.
If you have program ideas that you'd like to see on maxTV Local On Demand, write us at max.local@sastel.com.